What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Mind Something. If you're new here, my name is Jake, and in today's video we're going to take a look at this Yadacoin for CPU mining. Also, I got a reply from Dynex to some important questions that I asked in their Discord. I want to go over with you. Also, we're going to take a look at GPU pricing data, and then we have a taboo subject to discuss, which is financing mining equipment. So before we get into it, do me a favor, hit that like and hit the subscribe if you haven't already. And we're going to start things a little different today. I want to take a look at the solar production for today. The last couple of days have been decent, and it looks like the sun is starting to shine a little bit longer, and I'm excited to see a bit more production out of the solar panels. So today we produced roughly about 28.7 kilowatt hours, and so far since I've installed it, we've produced 2,724 kilowatt hours, saving me about $350 at 10 cents per kilowatt hour. Now my rate fluctuates. It's somewhere between 8 cents and 12 cents roughly. It's kind of seasonal, so it all depends, but on an average we'll just say 10 cents per kilowatt hour. So I'm just gonna go back to the last couple of days here. You can see this was a day with a lot of clouds. This particular day was pretty sunny, and that one was too. Now that one was pretty awful. We had a significant winter storm that passed through about a week ago, and solar production was down quite a bit. But let's take a look at the daily so far for the month of February. So we're starting to get back into the 30 watt kilowatt hours per day being produced, which is great because last month, as you can see, we started out in the 15 range, got up to the 20s, and as the month went on, we started to do a little better and a little better, but again, we had kind of a winter storm over the course of about a week. And then the month before that, which was December, really didn't get over about 22 kilowatt hours produced per day. And then the month of November was a little bit better. We were seeing some 27, 28 kilowatt hours per day. And October was much better. Now, pay no attention to these. Those were just built up while it was not part of my net meter. I was still waiting for that to get installed. But you can see most of the days we were over 30 kilowatt hours per day. And then as time went on, it got progressively worse. So I'm hoping that we get into the 33 to 36 kilowatt hours per day when we start to get into springtime and summer months, which would be great. And if you're curious, for those of you who are new and weren't aware that I had solar, this is something that I did myself. I purchased used solar panels from a company called Santan Solar. I spent about $3,000 total for everything, including the inverter, the wire, the connectors, and everything. And we're on course to hit return on investment of about 2.5 years. But I think after the summer months come along, we'll be just over 2 years, hopefully. Anyways, moving on. Let's take a look at the market right now. So time of recording is about 8:15 p.m. on February 5th, 2023. Bitcoin has pulled back. We're currently sitting at 23,000. Ethereum is at 1,634. XRP at 40 cents. Cardano about 40 cents. Dogecoin 9.2 cents. Polygon $1.21. Solana is $23.57. Litecoin has pulled back as well, sitting at $96.56. And then we have Ethereum Classic at $22.85, Monero at $166, Toncoin at $229. Let's take a look at some of the GPU mineable coins. We'll start with Caspa. So Caspa has been doing pretty good today, up about 15.5%, sitting at 0.006774. And then we've got Flux coming in at almost negative 3% at about 91 cents. And we've got Ravencoin has also pulled back about 3%, sitting just under 3 cents. Dynex has also pulled back about 2.5%, currently sitting at about 12.5 cents. And let's see, anything else we want to take a look at? Let's take a look at Radiant. So Radiant's up about 4%, sitting at 0.00069. And yeah, let's move on to mining pool stats and take a look at emissions. Now, by the way, there's been some major changes to hashrate.no, and it does include emissions, but I want to do a deep dive on the changes that they've made on the website. So for now, I'm just going to skip back over to mining pool stats to take a look at emissions and 7-day difficulty change. So, of course, Bitcoin on top, followed by Dogecoin. Caspa has jumped from about 140,000 in emissions per day to 154,000. Flux is up to 83,000. Monero is at 69,000. Ergo at about 62,000. Dynex is roughly about 25.8 thousand. And Bitcoin is sideways on difficulty for the last 7 days. Dogecoin is down about 11%. Litecoin is pretty much sideways. Chia is pretty much sideways. Zcash is up 4.5%. Caspa is up 5.8%. Flux is up 8.3%. Monero down about 1.5%. Ergo is sideways. But Dynex, look at this, up 92.5% over the last 7 days. So that's pretty significant. So taking a look at profitability on a single 3070 at 10 cents per kilowatt hour. Dynex is still on top, but just slightly compared to Cortex, which is interesting that it is pumping. So Dynex is 13 cents in profit per day, Cortex at 12, Nexa at 6 cents, Lithium at 4 cents, ETHW and Lithium at 3 cents. Ethereum Classic and Lithium is break even, Radiant is break even, Caspa is negative 1 cent, Ergo negative 1 cent, Meowcoin negative 2 cents, Conflux negative 5 cents, Neoxa negative 5 cents, and Flux negative 6 cents. By the way, I want to pose a question to you guys, and if you would leave your comments down below. So I posted something on the community in YouTube asking what you guys are mining. So far we've got 352 votes, and 30% of you are mining Flux, 19% of you are mining Nexa, 29% of you are mining Caspa, 13% are mining Dynex, and 9% of you are mining Radiant. But I'm curious, is it really that much trouble to mine the most profitable coin and then trade it for Flux? I mean, you know, there's a couple of exchanges for Dynex, there's a couple for Nexa, and they're obviously way more profitable to mine than Flux, and especially when you look at the difficulty over about the past week. Now, it's come back down just slightly today, and this is going to fluctuate, but you know, I would imagine this hash rate is going to drop down roughly 40 or 50% after the halving in the next day or two. But I mean, why? I don't know. It confuses me. To me, I don't find it that difficult to exchange coins, but perhaps it's more difficult than I'm making it out to be. Anyways, moving on. So let's talk about CPU mining profitability. So on a single a single Ryzen 9 5950X at 10 cents per kilowatt hour, it's showing that Yadacoin is profitable at $2 a day. I do not think this is correct, and we're going to cover that here momentarily. Pulsar is showing 25 cents a day in profit, Pandanite at 23 cents a day in profit, Victorium at 9 cents a day in profit, Monero at 3 cents a day in profit, Reptorium negative 2 cents, Darrow negative 5 cents, everything else is negative. And then taking a look at ASIC miner profitability, the KA3 has pulled back a little bit. I'm not sure if the price of Kadena has gone down or if difficulty is going up, but right now you're making $43.40 a day with the KA3. The K7 on Eaglesong is making $19.86. L7, $15.54. First Gold Shell, which is the SC6-SE on Blake 2, is making $3.97. Jazzminer X4 making $3.65. Jazzminer X16 making $3.46. Goldshell KD Max making $3.06. And the KD6 making $1.86. So moving on, I wanted to talk to you guys about Dynex for a moment. So it seems like there are two factions emerging around this coin. There are those that are screaming that it's a scam, and there are those that are saying it's great, it's not a scam. Now, me personally, I'm not going to say one way or the other whether or not I think it is a scam. I think there's different levels of scams. So, just a couple examples here. One, let's take for example Pink Chain. Pink Chain was a rug pull, meaning the devs probably had intentions of getting it up to a certain price and then cashing out and disappearing. Now, is that a scam? Yeah, probably. But the project is still open source and people can do things with it if they so choose. Now, will they choose to do so? Probably not. But then you look at Labyrinth. Labyrinth had a wallet that had malicious software built into it, and it was stealing people's crypto. That is definitely a scam. Now, is Dynex a scam? I don't know. I think it's a bit early for me to tell. I'm still doing research and asking questions, and I did get some answers to some of the questions that I asked in their Discord, and I want to go over those answers with you. So this reply is from Sumatomo. I believe that's how you pronounce it, not sure. But I asked him, I've been covering Dynex recently and getting lots of scam speculation comments. I want to make sure viewers are safe, and I'd like to ask a few questions about Dynex to help viewers have a better understanding of the project. First question. The website uses a lot of big words and technical jargon without really stating anything specific for its use case. Can you elaborate on what Dynex hopes to accomplish and how neuromorphic computing will be utilized? Second question. The GitHub pull request is empty. Where can people view previous work or continuing progress? And then last question, when will the team or the creators step forward? Appreciate your time and look forward to your reply. So he replies, yes, our site uses a lot of technical terms. That is because the team currently is very research driven. We are planning on separating the content a bit in the future, make it easier to navigate and manage the information flow better. The use cases are actually explained, but probably not visible enough. In summary, what we are aiming to achieve is to create a very large computing platform where customers can run computations. These run more efficient, less energy and time required compared to other systems, because we use simulated neuromorphic chips for that. The efficiency of these neuromorphic simulations has not only been showcased by us, but has also been proven by a number of researchers and universities before. We reference some of them in our Dynex Solve paper. The following computations can be run on Dynex: federated machine learning, accelerated deep learning, machine learning and AI, constraint satisfaction problems, mixed integer linear programming, quadratic constraint binary optimization, maximum satisfiability problem, subset sum problems, integer factorization. We also show what computations are currently being performed, what has been performed, and what is scheduled. You can see that in real time here. Question number 2, source code. We launched our proof of useful work algorithm on December 1st, 2022, just a few weeks ago, including all source codes. It is a proprietary algorithm created by us to ensure that most of the mining activity will go into computations and not into hashing. As with any new mining algorithm, it didn't take long until people tried to exploit it and find weakness in the algo. These attacks became so severe that we decided to remove the source code until we have hardened the algorithm against any potential malicious activities. At this point, we feel quite comfortable with it, and we will be monitoring that for a while and eventually release the source code again, of course. But there is a reference C++ implementation on GitHub available, which allows to reproduce one-to-one the result and computations as explained in our Dynex Solve paper. Everyone can reproduce it by compiling and running the computations, as well as trying to run those on other commercial and non-commercial software. And then question 3, the team. The project is only a few months old. Mainnet launched September of 2022. We are still quite surprised about how much traction it got. We are in the final stages of incorporating the legal structure. You can imagine that many things have to be considered, legislation, taxes, etc., which takes a while. Plus, we are being kept quite busy with working on Dynex too. Eventually, we will announce the team when everything is ready. Let us know if you have any additional questions. So, if you guys have any additional questions, please leave your comments down below and I'll be sure and follow up with the team. Now, what do I think about this response? I'd say overall pretty satisfied with the response. You know, as far as removing the source code and pulling things off of GitHub, it does make me a bit suspicious. You know, are people going to try and attack it? Absolutely, that's just part of it. But why release something that you weren't confident in prior? It just seems a bit odd. But, you know, I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. I will continue to treat everything as if it's a scam. I'm going to protect myself. You know, I'm not using a hardware wallet. I'm not downloading anything to my PC or any of the mining rigs that I feel that could compromise any of my personal information. I highly recommend that you guys do the same, but you know, this project has a lot of room to go in order to prove itself. But I'll continue to monitor it and let you guys know what I find. So moving on, I did notice an article from Cointelegraph saying FTX seeks to claw back political donations by the end of February. So, not going to read the entire article, but a couple of things to note here. FTX debtors are sending confidential messages to political figures, political action funds, and other recipients of contributions or other payments that were made by or at the direction of FTX debtors. Sam Bankman-Fried and other officers or principals of the FTX debtors, collectively the FTX contributors. These recipients are requested to return such funds to FTX debtors by February 28th of 2023. To the extent such payments are not returned voluntarily, the FTX debtors reserve the right to commence actions before the bankruptcy court to require the return of such payments, with interest accruing from the date any action is commenced. So this one is a bit of a head scratcher. So first of all, if they do return money, is that going to get returned to end users? No, probably not. I think they're in the process of trying to get this exchange back up and running. Now, will it be dollar for dollar or Satoshi for Satoshi? I have no idea. Will people be able to pull out their crypto if they do start the exchange again? I don't know. It all seems extremely sketchy to me. And the other aspect of this is, how the hell are they going to force them to return funds that were used for campaigns? I mean, that money is spent. Where is it going to come from? I don't know. But I'll keep you guys updated if we find out more info. And then we've got the graphics card pricing data update. So it's been about a month since we covered this, and I thought it would be worth covering again. This information is brought to you by PC Part Picker. I think the majority of these prices are probably retail and not used prices, but we're going to cover it anyway. So an RTX 3050 8GB looks like the price has been trading pretty much sideways since the middle of November. A 3060 is looking like it's going up just a little bit. And then 3060 Ti, which keep in mind this is the non-LHR variant, prices have gone below what they previously were at the middle of September. However, that's probably all used pricing data. And then the LHR, which is probably going to consist of new cards and used cards, it is going up. Looks like we bottomed sometime at the end of November and then again around the end of December, but we're going back up since then. And then the 3070 non-LHR pricing data is minuscule here because we don't have any LHRs being sold. And then we've got the LHR version, which bottomed towards the third quarter of November and has pretty much stayed sideways since then, maybe come down a little bit over the last couple of weeks. And then a 3070 Ti has continuously gone up since the beginning of November, end of October. And then we've got the 3080 10 gig has gone up. Now there's a gap in the pricing data here. And then we've got the LHR version, which looks like it is going up consistently. And then 3080 12 gig, I thought this was kind of odd that this one dropped off so much. Maybe it's because you can't really differentiate the, you know, the aspect of it being a better card than the 10 gig card. Now, of course, if you're mining Dynex, that's a whole different story. But as far as gamers are concerned, you know, it was just a cash grab by NVIDIA trying to get more money out of you for producing a 12 gig card. Anyways, 3080 Ti is also going back up. Looks like we bottomed at the end of September, but we got pretty close to that same number roughly just about 2 or 3 weeks ago, but we are coming back up. And then the 3090 has gone up substantially since the end of September. And then a 3090 Ti also gone back up substantially since the middle of September. 4070 Ti, unfortunately, it looks like price is going up a little bit. And then a 4080. Prices went up at the beginning of December, but they're starting to come back down a little bit. And then a 4090, unfortunately, is just getting higher and higher. I see a lot of YouTubers saying that the prices of 4090s are coming down, but that is not true according to this chart. And we got a few AMD cards here. So AMD is not doing quite as well as NVIDIA on holding up on pricing. So 6500 XT, pretty much at the bottom. 6600, looks like it did bottom middle of November, and it's come up since then and pretty much going sideways. 6600 XT also going up, coming back down a little bit over the last couple of weeks. 6700 XT, this one is kind of surprising because this is a good GPU for gaming. It's a pretty decent card for mining as well. And it looks like it actually bottomed at the end of January and come back up just a little bit. Then a 6800 pretty much at the bottom. 6800 XT also pretty much at the bottom. And then 6900 XT is actually coming back up. 7900 XT looks like it is coming down. And the 7900 XTX looks like it is actually coming down over the last week, but it's been going up since its launch. Anyways, moving on. Couple of other things here. U.S. Congress to hold crypto crash hearing on February 14th. Maybe something that you want to put on your calendar. And if you guys are curious what I'm mining right now, I am back on Nexa mostly, but I am also mining a little bit of Caspa as well. And still getting a rash of what appears to be invalid shares, but not necessarily. I think this is still API issues between Hive and LOL Miner, but I think these are rejected shares that are showing up as invalids, but still haven't confirmed that. So let's talk about Yadacoin for a moment. So I am mining Yadacoin on one of my desktops and getting about roughly 15,000 hash. Also GPU mining on a 3080, mining Nexa as well. And I don't know, this Yadacoin, I watched a couple of videos from the founder, and it doesn't look good to me. I'm just going to flat out say it. If you are mining Yada, this is probably something that you want to exchange for something else. I personally don't see the project going very far. I could be wrong. Could be another meme coin that does extremely well. But based off of the videos that I saw from the founder, to me it just appears to be an unregistered security. The guy only created a coin to try and get his business off of the ground. So not super impressed with the project, but the profitability supposedly is great. But that has not been the case for me. So the pool that I'm mining to, their GUI is just awful. But it's one of the only US pools that I can mine to. And let me show you what we've mined so far. I'll refresh this page just to see if there's any other rewards here. So yeah, we mined 32 Yadacoins in roughly about 24 hours. And the current price of Yadacoin is 0.003681. So let's take this number real quick. I'm going to copy that, put it into the calculator here. Oh, I can't paste for whatever reason. Let's see, what was it? 20368. So multiply that by 32.5 coins. Sorry, screwed that up. Yeah, it's roughly about 12 cents. According to profitability calculators, I should be making about 84 cents a day in profit. So I don't know if the chain's going down. I've read a couple of different things in their Discord. Other pools are having issues, but I only bring this to your attention because we cover CPU mining profitability daily, and Yadacoin keeps showing up to be the most profitable, but that does not appear to be the case in my opinion. So probably something you want to avoid, but if you're not avoiding it, just FYI, if you're trying to exchange it, you can use Xbitron or SafeTrade. All right, so last couple things I want to get into are some Excel spreadsheets that I created, and this is a pretty taboo subject. So probably every single YouTuber that you've watched in regards to mining is going to advise you not to A, spend more money than you can afford to lose, and B, never go in debt to buy mining equipment. But I just want to play out a thought experiment here. So I'm looking at a KA3 making $43 a day in profit, right? If I could get my hands on one of these, it'd cost me roughly about 10 grand, right? So let's check out this spreadsheet here. So at $43 a day in profit, if I bought 10 of these, I'd spend 100 grand. Each one uses about 3,000 watts continuously. So we're using 30,000 watts continuously, which is 720 kilowatt hours per day. Now, you can adjust these numbers and play with this all you like. I'm going to leave a link to this down in the description below. But the solar panels that I have, they're 250 watts a piece. Each one of them is going to produce roughly about 1.2 kilowatt hours per day. And the way I came up with that is saying 80% of 250 watts, 6 hours a day, divided by 1,000 watts, which is going to give you a kilowatt hour, is going to give you 1.2 kilowatt hours per day. So we would need 600 250 watt panels to cover 100% of the electricity usage from 10 of these KA3s. Now, you can also adjust how much you're paying per solar panel, how many watts per solar panel. But the ones that I bought from Santan Solar were $47 a piece. I did not have to pay shipping on them, did not have to pay tax on them. I was fortunate to have a friend that was in Arizona and picked them up and drove them back to me in Texas. So if I were to do that again, I'd be looking at an upfront cost of $28,000 in solar panels. And then I would need inverters, right? So a grid tie inverter. For every 6,000 watts, I'm going to need one inverter. And we're needing 30,000 watts. So that is 25 6,000 watt inverters to cover that. Now, pay no attention to the dollar sign here. It's just 25. And each one of those grid tie inverters, which is a grow watt inverter, by the way, is $850 with tax and shipping. So we're looking at $21,250, right? And then we got miscellaneous parts here. So for every 30 solar panels, I need roughly about $100 worth of PV solar wire. And then we need the connectors, other various parts. Basically, for every 30 solar panels, we need about $150 worth of additional equipment. So we're looking at total upfront cost of $152,450. We'd be profiting $430 a day because 100% of our electricity usage would be covered on average, right? And we're looking at a 354-day return on investment. But what if we didn't spend our own money? What if we borrowed that money? So if we financed $152,000 on a 72-month loan at, we'll just say 0% interest for now. I'll probably add something to the spreadsheet so that you can include interest on those payments. But you'd be paying $2,117 a month for that monthly payment on that loan. The revenue per month, so $430 per day, is going to give you $12,900 per month. And after you make this monthly payment, you're looking at a profit of $10,783, which sounds really nice to me. And I'm having a hard time convincing myself that this is something that I should not be doing. Now, I don't advocate that you go in debt to purchase mining equipment because we don't know what the future holds, and this is just a thought experiment. But another thing to play devil's advocate here, when it comes to borrowing money, you know, if you pay attention to someone like Dave Ramsey has a very, very specific targeted audience. And those are people that are so far in debt, they don't see any way of getting out of it. And unfortunately, this is probably an average person in America. And if you compare that to what the richest people in society do, they don't spend their own money. They have assets that they borrow against, okay? They spend other people's money or the bank's money to make more money. And when you compound how inflation is affecting us in society right now, we're currently at about 6 or 7%, according to their numbers, which is probably not true, but we'll just say 6 or 7% inflation year over year. So every year, a dollar is worth 6 to 7% less than it was the previous year. So if you're paying 6 or 7% interest on a loan, the money is actually free. You're borrowing someone else's money for free. So, just something to think about. Anyways, the other spreadsheet that I wanted to cover today is something that I covered in yesterday's video. And just in case some of you didn't catch it, there wasn't a whole lot of views on it, so I just wanted to draw it to everyone's attention. This is the TPA calculator. So TPA stands for Total Performance Average. I'd really like to get away from referring to our farm size in terms of Ethereum's hash rate, because let's face it, ETH is gone. It's not coming back, and it looks like for the foreseeable future we're going to be jumping from one coin to another. And you know, if I asked you right now, how big is your farm, how would you reply? Would you list off every single GPU that you have? Would you just say, I got 35 GPUs? Well, if you've got 35 4090s, that's a lot different than 35 RX 580 4 gigs. Okay, it makes a big difference. So if you haven't caught that video, I'll leave a link down in the description below explaining all of this, but just wanted to let you guys know what my TPA is. I am sitting at 2679, and yeah, I'm curious what your TPA is. So yeah, I'll leave a link to this also in the description. If you guys want to play with it and figure out what your TPA score is, leave your comments down below. Appreciate you guys watching, and I'll see you on the next one.